Hey guys, welcome to Stacking the Shelves for the weekend of April 13th. I did get quite a few books this week, and they're all for review. You guys probably know from my last video, I am still at home on disability leave because of my surgery. So unfortunately, that gives me a lot of time to, well, it's good because I've been able to read a lot, but I also spend a lot of time like surfing online for books. So these are all review books, and to be fair, I always go every Monday. I go on Edelweiss and NetGalley and kind of look through my categories and see if there's any requests to review books that I'm interested in. And then I did spend some time going through the Amazon Vine for All, they call it, and that's the Amazon review program. And they have a Vine for All section where things get put that nobody wants. And there are a lot of books on there, like thousands of books. So I always just kind of go through the young adult, science fiction, fantasy, and young adult categories of that and just see what I like. So I did get 2 books for review from Amazon Vine. And the first one of those is Spark by Sarah Beth Durst. I'm a pretty big fan of Sarah Beth Durst. I like a lot of the stuff that she writes. And this is a middle grade fantasy, so it sounded really cool, and I know it's about dragons, and that's all I know, obviously. So I'm actually probably going to start reading this today. I wanted kind of an easier book to read because I just finished Courting Darkness by Robin Lefevre, and that one was massive, and it did take some concentration to read, and I'd really like to read something just easy. So yeah, got Spark. The other one I got for reviews, one I actually haven't heard of before. Oh, and I should say Spark comes out in May, so May 2019. So it's not quite out, but it's coming out soon. This one, I believe, is coming out in April, or it may already be out. And this is one I hadn't heard of before, but when I read the synopsis, I thought it sounded really neat. And it's We Rule the Night by Claire Eliza Bartlett. And it sounds like it's kind of an alternate history, maybe. It's about 2 girls who work on machines. And, well, one girl is working on war machines. The other girl has disguised herself as a boy to join the army. They both end up getting caught and punished by being asked to join this, like, all-women's flying thing. That's all I know about it. It sounded kind of neat. The cover's pretty cool. And yeah, I think that'll be interesting to read. Now, the rest of these I did go ahead and I brought up on my tablet again. So all the rest of these are ebook. First one I got for ebook is Shadowfrost by Coco Ma. And this is a young adult fantasy that comes out in October about a young girl who is supposed to defeat some monstrous demon. It seems like it might have some like Asian themes to it. The next one I got comes out in November, and that was through Edelweiss. This is a collection of a constellation of roses by Miranda Acebed. You're getting some reflection here. Apologies for that. So this one sounds like it's set in modern day. It's a young adult novel about some teens that have some special abilities. One girl has like some supernatural thieving abilities, and the other girl can like tell people's darkest secrets. And they're both trying to make it on their own. They've been abandoned or whatever. And it just sounded really neat. And I've heard some good things about it. So then 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th book I got for review was also through Edelweiss, and that's Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron. This one sounded interesting to me because it's another young adult fantasy, which I really love. And it's about a girl who's a witch doctor whose mother is very critical of her using her powers. And she finds out that like this demon's going to be released and she needs to use her powers to prevent it. So it just sounded kind of neat. I like stuff about demons and women warriors and all that. So good. So the last one I got then for review, I also got through, I think those were all through Edelweiss. Yeah, I kind of went on an Edelweiss, like crazy spurt. And that is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. This comes out in September. The other one also came out, the previous one also came out in September. It's supposed to come out in September. This is another young adult fantasy. And it's about a young woman who is supposed to be sacrificed for her magic abilities, but she gets away, and so part of the story is from that point of view. And then there's a huntsman whose job it is to hunt down witches And apparently the huntsman and this escaped mage, rogue mage or witch or whatever you want to call her, end up meeting in through different circumstances, end up being forced to get married. And this is kind of the story of that. And it sounded kind of fun and intriguing. And I'm guessing this will be a little bit more romance heavy, young adult fantasy book. So that's what I got. 3 through 8 Edelweiss, one coming out September, a couple coming out in October. And then, of course, Shadow Frost is from NetGalley, and that comes out in October. So 6 books. It is quite a bit. But on the other hand, I only have like 5 books around to read. And I'm going to be honest, that's a little bit like, I don't know. It's a little bit weird because as you know, a few years ago, I had like 300 books around to read, and now I have 5, and only one of them is a physical book, and the rest are all ebooks, including these. Now I'm back up to 16 or 13. What 5 plus 6 is 11. So I have a few more to read now, and I do read between 4 to 5 books a week. So I kind of want to have at least a week or two's books around to read, just in case I have to go out of town or something like that. All right, so that is my stacking the shelves. I will, again, give a very quick update on surgery stuff. I do plan on kind of releasing, I don't know, I was thinking about releasing a series of videos like before my surgery, a week, 2 weeks, whatever. So I have been recording those, but I haven't done anything with them. Anyways, I am a little over 2 weeks after I had my hysterectomy, and I think things are going really well. Most of the little weird pains I was having are gone. I am still bruised on one side, and my stomach is still swollen. I think the biggest thing is like my pelvic bone. Like I've been trying to walk. So like I'm an engineer, right? So I have a plan for everything. So like my first week, my plan was just to get up and walk around and move like 10 to 15 minutes a day. The second week, my goal was to walk a mile a day. This is, again, partway into the third week, so 2.5 weeks. And my goal was to walk a couple miles, 2 to 3 miles every day around the neighborhood. And I've been doing that, and I've been noticing like my pelvis bone is like aching. And I actually had my 2-week follow-up with my doctor today. They were like super impressed, I guess, by how much I've healed. My incisions are almost completely healed. And when I mentioned to her that achiness, she's like, "You're doing too much. You need to like mellow out." And basically told me that if I'm getting achy like that, it means that I need to stop doing so much because that area was somewhat damaged during the surgery and it needs a little bit more time to heal. So we kind of went over like what I can do. She said the stretching is great. She's like, walking is great, but just walk around the block. Don't go 2 or 3 miles yet. And then we did talk a little bit about in the next few weeks what I can do. And I can lift light weights with my arms, like 5 or 8 pound weights. I can start doing reps as long as it's not engaging my core muscles at all. I can do some on the stationary bike. We have a recumbent stationary bike. I can do some of that, but they don't want me to raise my pulse rate too much. They said to keep your pulse rate, lower. So probably in maybe the 120, 130 range. They don't, and the reason for that is they don't want a lot of blood flow in your circulation to increase a lot because there's a lot of concern about internal healing and stitches holding and all that. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing for the next up until 6 weeks after my surgery. When I go back to work, I'll be walking, doing some biking, maybe doing some lifting with my arms and all that. It was kind of hilarious because like they have you lay down on the little bed to check your incisions, and mine are completely, they're sealed. You can still see little lines where there were, and there's one that has a lot of bruising around it. But and then like she was done, right? And I sat up and I jumped off the table, and she had her hand out to like help me, and she goes, "Oh, you just got up on your own. Didn't that hurt?" And I was like, "Well, it's a little sore, but it didn't like hurt." And she goes, "Huh, you're healing pretty fast." So apparently all the things I've been trying to do to really make sure that I'm staying healthy is good. I actually have an app on my phone that reminds me to drink water right now because I was noticing I was feeling a little dehydrated. And at work, I drink water constantly, but at home, my routine's a little bit different. I don't really have a routine, although I'm starting to develop one. So I have an app that's telling me to drink water constantly. So I was staying really hydrated. I was trying really hard to eat like lots of fruits and vegetables and get a good amount of protein and I haven't been drinking any alcohol or any of that. I feel like my job right now is to heal and get better. And so they were very happy and said that things are going well. So I was super excited to hear that. So I think that like the really hard part is always at the beginning, right? When you get right out of the hospital. And then I feel like the second hardest part for me is towards the end of your restrictions, where you are supposed to be following these restrictions, but you think you feel fine. So I think I'm going to struggle with that a little bit as I get to the 5-6 week mark on this all. I will have trouble being good because I'm not supposed to lift anything over 20 pounds. I'm not supposed to be pushing things. I'm not supposed to be using anything that engages my core muscles. A big part of this is, I think I mentioned in a previous video, they, this might be too much information, but they basically have to make you a fake sealing to your vaginal area. So all your internal organs stay in. They call it a vaginal cuff. And if that gets messed up, you're screwed. Like if that tears, you're in big trouble. If that tears, you have to go under surgery again. They have to fix it. And then you're on bed rest for 3 to 4 months until it heals completely. And once it tears, it will never heal as good as it would have the first time. Like it's a thing you don't want to screw up. So that's where all these restrictions really come in at, the lifting, the moving, all this stuff, right? So you have to be very, very careful on what you're doing. And I definitely don't want to be on 3 to 4 months of bed rest. So that's gonna be the toughest part for me. And then like the exercise restrictions are probably 6 weeks. Then I go back in and they can check and see how everything has healed internally and externally. And then after that, I'm still on lifting restrictions up to 12 weeks, it sounds like. And then they think you should be good to go. I have mentioned before, my doctor is pretty conservative. I really like her because she's very aggressive about providing treatment and helping you fix your issues. She really wants to get to the issue, not deal just with symptoms. But she's also conservative about doing, about healing and what's going to be the best for you. So she said most doctors recommend 8 weeks for lifting and other activities. She's recommending 12 weeks because she knows for sure 100% they'll be healed by then. So it's going to be a long couple months. But I mean, if you look at it, I'm almost a few more days, I'll be at the 3 week point. So I'm at the halfway point for most of my restrictions. And I've been feeling a lot better every day. And then the next 6 weeks, I'll just have to be, better. I think one of my biggest issues is I feel bad. Like I'm making my husband and son carry and move anything over, it can't be over 20 pounds. So like the clothes basket is heavy, right? And my son actually weighed it and it's just around 20 pounds. So like they have to move the clothes basket in for me. And like, I want to move a chair, but it's heavy. So like I have to call somebody to move the chair. Like I want to go clean the cat box and I can't lift the thing of cat litter because it's 30 pounds. And like, there's just a lot of stuff. And I feel kind of like a little bit of a weenie. I'm like, can you come carry this for me? I've always been a person who believes if I'm going to ask my husband to do it, I should be able to do it. With the exception of wasps, I will not deal with wasps. But like, if I'm going to ask him to build a garden enclosure, I should be able to do it too. Like I'm going to help cut all the wood and build it and do whatever. So I have a really hard time with asking somebody to do all of this stuff for me. But it's okay. We'll get through it. And, if you think about it, I was miserable for about 2 weeks a month. And if I have to take 12 weeks to heal from this adequately, then I will recoup that last time in about 6 months. So hopefully I'll be living a long life and this will really benefit me. All right. I will stop blabbing. I will talk to you guys next week. Hopefully I don't get quite as many books next week. I did get a lot this week, so I'll have to tone it down a little bit. I am trying to watch that because I don't want to end up in another 300 book to be read pile situation. But so far it's been going really good. And I actually got to the point where I was like, oh my God, I only have 5 books to choose from to read. So, all right. Quick thing on the weather. We are finally, so we had a big snowstorm last week here in Minnesota. We got about, not as much. They're saying 18 inches we were going to get. It was an interesting day. So last Wednesday we had sleet, slush, hail, rain, snow, thunder, lightning. We had everything with throughout the day. So we ended up having this really weird combination of I don't know what it was on the ground. It snowed, and then there were it looked like Swiss cheese because hail went through the snow, and then all the snow was kind of brownish because the dust came in from Texas, and it was very odd. But there's finally no more snow on the ground. Yesterday it was in the mid 70s, and today it's in the 50s and it's raining. But supposedly on Easter it's supposed to be almost 80. So those of you who are familiar with it, our weather just goes like you don't know. Between March to May, you could have a 90-degree day or you could have a 30-degree day. You just have no idea. And these days can happen next to each other within a week. So it was 70-something yesterday. It's going to be in the upper 40s, low 50s today with rain. And then it's supposed to warm up through to Sunday and be in the 80s. So this sounds like it's going to be the first nice Easter we have had in I don't know, maybe my lifetime. Usually it's either super windy, it's raining, or it's freezing and snowing. We just never know. So very looking forward to that. I hope you guys have a great Easter if you celebrate it. Or if you get the day, a lot of people get Good Friday off still. So I know my son has that off of school. So I hope you guys have a great time. And I hope you got great books to read. And I will talk to you next week. Bye.